difference between a hero and a coward? There ain't no difference. Inside, they're both exactly alike. Both scared of dying or getting hurt. But it's what the hero does that makes him a hero. It's what the other guy doesn't do that makes him a coward.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. That is wet. Okay. Well, I just got my ass wet. That's alright. Anyways, I don't know if y'all can hear the birds chirping. The birds chirping out today, baby. It's a nice day. So, I wanted to be very exaggerative, but I wrote down a quote here I wanted to talk about today, because today's topic is going to be on the topic of courage. I know that courage is a necessary thing needed in life. If you have very big and ambiguous and ambitious dreams that you want to achieve, you're going to ultimately need courage to achieve those things. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. At the end of the day, if you want to go where you want to go, you're going to have to be courageous to do those things. You're going to have to constantly take those steps. You know, you're going to have to be willing to fall in front of everybody and do some embarrassing things, or they're not even necessarily, might not be embarrassing, but in your own mind, you're making them out to be embarrassing. You whatever the case may be, it may not even be embarrassing. It might be you're going up against a general threat. There's so many different instances of being courageous in life. But at the end of the day, I recently picked up a book called Courageous Calling by Ryan Holiday, and would highly, highly, highly recommend it to anybody watching this. I think it's a phenomenal book to read. I think that it's just really gives you the perspective you need to understand what courage really is, because I think nowadays there's a common misconception of what courage genuinely is. People don't understand what courage actually is and what it actually means to be courageous. You know, it's actually cool is this little bracelet I have right here was a little Christmas gift from my mother, and I really like it. I've been wearing it like ever since I got it. I love it. I don't know, this little thingy on my wrist, I like it. I enjoy it. I think it looks nice. But at the end of the day, it's actually pretty funny, because this is actually on the topic of courage. Whenever I got this bracelet, you get a little box with a note in it. You know what? I might as well grab it. I'll go grab it real quick. So this is the little box here that it came in. And I actually really like the quote that it came with, and I look at this bracelet often, and I think of it now whenever I look at it. It says, "To my son, courage is not the absence of fear, it is the determination to do something in spite of the fear. Have courage to live your dreams. Love you." I'll go ahead and let you get a little peek at that if you want to. But I think that perfectly defines today's topic. It's not by any means easy to be courageous, and it's a very difficult thing to actually be able to do and achieve. Of course, that's the whole point of courage, right? If courage was easy, then no one would be courageous, right? The reason you need to be courageous is because something is inherently difficult. It's worse to do. It's harder to do. Not worse to do necessarily, but harder to do. It's the more difficult route. Our minds are naturally programmed to choose the route of least resistance. So being courageous is inherently something we are programmed not to do. To be courageous is something you voluntarily have to give yourself to, because as the quote says right here, right? Courage is not action without fear, it's action despite it. Every single great person you've seen, I can't say everybody, but for the most part, like majority of the great people you've seen, the people who go on to be successful, whoever you may look up to, whoever you may see as a role model or any kind of figure like that, like all of these people had to overcome times like this in their life where they had to be courageous. They had to be willing to do the things other people weren't wanting to do, willing to do. They had to have the courage to do to do it despite what anybody had to say about their dreams. And this is more so on the topic of dreams, but this can go for if you're just, like an armed shooter comes in the room and you got to have the courage to whip out that Glock you got on your hip. But anyways, seriously though, I know that you have dreams watching this. I know the person watching this has dreams. The reason you are here, the reason you got recommended this video, the reason this video is in your feed and you're watching this as we speak right now is because you have dreams. It's because you have things you want to achieve, ambitions you want to reach, things you want to do in this life. And I can guarantee you every single dream that you have, every single aspiration you have, every single thing you want to achieve is going to take some level of courage. Other routes are going to take more courage than others, but at the end of the day, you have to have the courage to do the things you're trying to do. No matter what route you try to take, there's going to be things and obstacles and stuff that gets placed in your way that you have to be courageous about. And I think courage isn't like, oh, I'm courageous or I'm not courageous. Being courageous is something you continually have to do over and over and over again. Courage is not like this one-time thing where like you overcome some obstacle that you had to be really courageous to get over, and all of a sudden you can be labeled as courageous. You were courageous at that moment, but being courageous is something that's a time and time again effort. So it's not like, am I courageous or am I not courageous? It's more so like, on the scale, where do I sit in terms of courage? And I'm not sitting here to say I'm some kind of super courageous man, right? Like, I think I'm actually the opposite of courageous in many ways, and I have to work on that, and that's something I'm working toward, right? But those times whenever you feel uncomfortable when doing something, whenever you know that, those times where you can feel your heart beating before you're about to do something because of how nervous you are doing it, how scared you are to go towards that thing, those are the moments where you have to prove yourself to yourself. At the end of the day, those are the moments where you have to prove yourself to yourself. Those are the times for you to show up and prove that you are someone who can be courageous. And once again, it's not something that just happens once and all of a sudden you're courageous. Like, you're going to have plenty of times in your life where you were nervous as fuck before you do something, but you have to go out there and do it anyway to become courageous. It's amazing when you continually put your mind to it and continually boom, boom, boom. Every single time you feel that uncomfortableness, that fear, that scare, that good, because that's a sign that you're doing exactly what you need to do, right? Because in the book Courage is Calling, you can see it right off the title. Courage is calling. When you have to be courageous to do something, that's perfect, because that means you're doing something important. That means you're doing the right thing. That means you're doing something that's inherently harder and that most people aren't willing to do, and most people just walk by in their everyday life. And if you can become the person who's courageous enough to do it anyway, despite how hard it is, that's where you find the person you're looking to be. That's where you grow. That's where you become stronger. That's where you become more the man you need to be, or the woman you need to be, to achieve the things you're trying to achieve. I'm gonna go back to this quote that I brought out on my dramatic notepad earlier. But it says, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to sit back and do nothing. See, it's so easy to see something going wrong. It's so easy to see some kind of difficulty, some obstacles you have to overcome in order to do the courageous thing and just back off. In fact, most people do. And I'm sure you can find a number of times back in the back of your mind right now where you're like, I could have been more courageous in that moment. Whether it was approaching the girl across the room who you think is really pretty, or I don't know, you saw someone getting picked on and you did nothing, or bro, I don't fucking know. You like, I get, or like you have a video, a YouTube video that you've been sitting on in the vault that you want to release. You think it's really good, but you're scared to, because you're afraid of what people are going to do to judge you. You're scared of what people are going to think of you when you do that thing. And like, you had to have the courage to overcome those things and just do those things anyway. Like, it's so much easier to just not do it, but I promise you, when you do it, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. Even if people don't like the thing you're doing, even if you do get judged, even if people do hate on you, it's okay. You can prove them wrong in time, but understand you took that first step, you took that leap. If you want to have the thick skin needed to get to where you're trying to go, you have to be willing to go through these things. Every single person you've ever seen that has been courageous in their acts, they've also had to been hated on. Because let's take just an artist, for example, say Travis Scott, right? What, feelings aside on how you feel about Travis Scott or whatever, I don't know, bro. But let's take Travis Scott, for example, right? When Travis Scott was coming up, like whenever he was first started putting out his music, bro, he was a new sound on the block. Like, people were not used to his sound. Do you know how much hate Travis Scott got for like the majority of his first bit of career? And obviously he still gets hate now. It's not like the hate doesn't just go away. He might have less than he did, or he might actually have more than he ever did. But the point being is, just because someone hates on you for doing something, just because someone judges you for doing something, doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Doesn't mean, it actually is a sign that maybe you're doing the right thing. Because if you're doing the right thing, you're gonna get hate. You're bound to. That's why it takes courage to do certain things, because you're gonna get backlash for them. And whatever the case may be, right? And I'm just talking in the terms of going for your dreams, right? If you decide to uproot your life and decide to make this really drastic change in your life and people see it, that takes courage, because you're going to have a lot of judgment from the people around you. Like, what is this guy doing? Is he insane? Is he blah, 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 blah? Whatever the case may be, right? It inherently takes courage to do that. You're going to face a lot of judgment for the things you do. You have to be willing to do things despite the judgment. When I hop on these cameras, bro, when I upload these videos to YouTube, Instagram, make these shorts or whatever, I expect to be looked at as like a cornball by a lot of people. I expect for people to hate on me. I expect for those things to come out of what I'm doing. It's okay. That's what it takes. That's what I need to do to get to the level I'm trying to go to. The fact that I'm willing to put myself in that position, the fact that if you're someone like watching this right now, you can think of those times where you put yourself in that position. The fact that you are willing to put yourself in that position to learn is a great sign, bro. The people who are judging you, the people who look at you, the people who are like, oh, this guy's a cornball, look at him, he's just yapping, whatever. Fuck it. You want to know why, bro? Because they're not even willing to do the shit I'm doing themselves. These motherfuckers don't even have a picture of themselves on their profiles. They hide behind an anime profile picture or whatever, bro. And it's like, why would I like, or just whatever. They're just like, they're not someone I want to be. They're someone who just like lives an entire different lifestyle. Why would I care what that person has to think of me? If you were not, that's another thing. You have to be very selective with the people you let influence you in your life and the people you let have opinion over your life. Everyone can have an opinion, but not everyone deserves a say at the end of the day. So you have to be choosing who you let have their say in your life. You have to be very careful with who you let have their say in your life. If someone is not someone you look up to or want to be like, or is in a position you are trying to go to, why would I listen to that person or take their advice? Why would I take their advice? Why would I listen to them? Why would I let that person's judgment, who I don't even care about, not even necessarily care about, maybe I do care about them, but why would I let this person's judgment of me, even though they're not the person I want to be or strive to become or whatever, why would I let their judgment stop me from going towards the things I want to do? Why? And I understand why. It's hard, it's difficult. You get judged, you get looked at funny by people. People are like, this guy's cuckoo, this guy's fucking off his bonkers, look at him yapping again. Whatever, right? But that's okay. Like, that is what it takes to get to the level you're trying to go to. In 2, 3, 4, 5 years time from now, you stick with those things, you stick with those dreams, you stick with those ambitions, you stick with those courageous things, you stick to being courageous despite the judgment. One day you're going to be in a position that people crave to be in. One day you're going to be in a position that people crave to be in, but they weren't willing to do the things you were willing to do to get there. So understand, bro, anytime you're getting hate, anytime you're getting backlash, anytime you do something that flops, or anytime you fall flat on your face in front of everybody, or whatever it may be, whatever act of courage it takes, it's better to do that than to do nothing. That's how you get to where you want to be in life at the end of the day. And I know we wish we had this road of like where we didn't have to deal with these things, where these obstacles weren't in our way, where these judgment of other people weren't in our way. But that's not what it is. That's not what this life is. You are going to be judged no matter what. So don't let the judgment of man stop you, bro. The only opinions that should truly, really matter to you are your own and God's. Right? At the end of the day, and obviously that's like a little bit of an exaggeration, like I said, but you just have to be very selective with the people whose opinion you really let matter, and truly the people's opinion on you who matter the most is really just yourself and God, once again. But it's like, immediately on this planet, you have to, your judgment about yourself, of who you see in the mirror, is what matters most. Because you might be respected by everybody, but look in the mirror and fucking hate yourself. Or you might be hated by everybody, but look in the mirror and fucking see a man you respect in the mirror. I'm sorry, I'm taking the second one all the time. I'm taking the motherfucker I can look in the mirror and respect despite the hate of everybody else around me. Fuck it, I'm ostracized from everybody. I'm NBA Youngboy, I got blackballed. But fuck it, I'll be alright. I'm gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep fighting, I'm gonna keep striving, I'm gonna keep on fucking going towards what I'm trying to achieve. But throughout that journey, you have to continually be courageous to get there at the end of the day. It's not easy. You're gonna be judged, you're gonna be hated on, you're gonna have people who look at you funny. That's just the name of the game, bro. So the sooner, like, it doesn't get easier. There's not gonna ever come a point where it just magically gets easier. You have to, right, for you to go to the gym, you have to start somewhere in the gym. Loud ass trade. But for you to start in the gym, bro, you're not just gonna go from benching 100 pounds to 225 overnight. It just doesn't happen. You have to go in continually and grind and put your mind to it day in and day out, and be dieting correctly and doing all these different things, sleeping well, training consistently, training the right way. So many different factors that come into play, right, for you to be eventually able to reach that. I think something that's super commonly missed is, like, you have to become the person you need to be in order to achieve something. People often chase the thing they're trying to achieve. But we'll just take, for example, if you're trying to achieve, you want to make $20,000 a month, and you're chasing that thing. But like you're constantly like, oh, I want it, wishing for it, hoping for it, chasing after it. Chasing something implies that it's running away from you, right? When you chase something, imagine you're like swimming upstream in a river in order to get to that position. You're going on a really hard hill. You have to swim super hard just to make it anywhere in the river, and reaching the end goal damn near seems impossible because of how hard you have to swim. And that's because you were chasing the thing. You're chasing the $20,000 a month, right? But on the flip side, if you just focus on becoming the person who's worthy of those $20,000 a month, you focus on becoming more disciplined, you focus on making healthier lifestyle choices, you focus on making healthier decisions, doing the right thing, becoming the appropriate man you need to be, that journey is going to become so much more easier for you. Because if you focus on becoming the man who's worthy of the $20,000 a month rather than chasing the $20,000 a month, now, instead of feeling like you're fighting this upstream battle all the way to the end, the goal seems so far because you're fighting the swim. If you just focus on becoming the person that's needed to get there rather than chasing the thing, now it's going to feel like you're swimming downhill as you become the person, because you attract the thing. You don't push it away, or you don't fight against it. You go along with it because you understand it. You're the man you need to be in order to achieve that thing. So yeah, I mean, it's really as simple as that. Focus on becoming the person that's needed to achieve these things. If you want to, for example, be a musician, being a musician isn't about just making good music. In fact, that's like one of the, I know that, what do you mean being a musician isn't just about making good music? But it's like, it's not. It's like one factor of many in being a great musician. You have to build the person who's able to be the musician. It's not easy to put your work out there and be criticized all the time. It's not easy to have the spotlight on you whenever you do things. It's It's, you have to be the person who doesn't just make good music, but makes good music and puts it out consistently, makes the content around it, fucking is confident enough to be that person, is authentic, is themselves, blah blah blah. Bro, the list goes on, right? If we really sat here and tried to dissect every little bit of the list, we could, right? But the point being is, there's one factor that goes into being a musician, right? There's one factor that goes in, there's more than one factor that goes into being a musician, right? Chasing $20,000 a month, making $20,000 a month isn't just about making $20,000 a month. There's so many different factors that go into it, and if you're not the person worthy of making $20,000 a month, if you just keep chasing that thing, you're going to be chasing the inevitable. You're going to be chasing something you can't get, because you're not the person needed to be. So you have to focus on becoming the fucking person to do it, rather than the thing. Because if you just focus on the thing, you're never going to get there. Straight up, you'll never get there if you just focus on the thing. You think making $20,000 a month is just making $20,000 a month. No, it's about building the right skill set, having the right mindset, being able to work day in and day out, being disciplined, keeping faith, being persistent, courageous, all these different things in order to actually achieve that thing. And if you're not the person who can do those things, you're just chasing something you'll never achieve. And so focus on becoming the man who's able to overcome these obstacles to get there. Otherwise, you're just fucking chasing nothing. You're chasing a fallacy. You know how many people want to make $20,000 out there, but how many actually do? How many actually really want it? Because really wanting something isn't reflected in what you say or how you feel. Really wanting something is reflected in your actions, what you choose to do. Right? That's how you can tell if someone really wants something. You see it in their fucking drive and the actions they take. They don't even speak about wanting it. They never tell anybody they want it. They just fucking go out there and get it. Meanwhile, you're over here, oh, I really want to do all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, talking about something isn't going to get you there. Just do it. Just be the man. You have to grow to become the man. You have to, if you really want it, you're going to go out there and get after it. And I'm not here to like criticize anybody watching this. Understand, like, I myself am gonna look back and listen to a lot of this stuff and be like, yeah, that's good stuff. Like, I could use that right now. Like, I could hear that advice. I could hear that for myself, right? Because you might actually have a day where you seize the ability to be the person you're trying to be. You might grab it in your hands and be that person for a day, but then the next day comes around and you have to be them again. And that's the hard part that comes in, because you can do it for a day. You've seen that drive in you. You've seen that dog in you. You've seen that motherfucker in you who can do it. But then something comes along, knocks you off course, and now you're just like not feeling it the same way as you were before. You don't have the same drive you had before. You don't have the same ambition. You don't have the same perspicacity in order to do the thing you're trying to do. You have to figure out how to permanently seize the person you're trying to be. Or just seize them as often as you possibly can. Maybe there's no such thing as permanent, right? But you have to be able to seize that person that's needed to do the things to get there. Find that side of you, and then figure out how to be that side of you consistently, constantly. Every single day when you wake up, you are that person. Because there are some days where you might feel phenomenal and you're doing everything right. And you actually are becoming the person needed to do that, but the next day comes around and you don't do it again. Once again, it's like, remember how we were talking about courage is on a scale? It's not about am I courageous or am I not courageous? It's about how courageous I am. So it's not about am I the person or am I not the person? It's about how much of the person am I that's needed to be these things, to do these things, right? So figure that out. Genuinely assess yourself. Go look in the fucking mirror and be honest, brutally honest with who you are, and figure out what those steps are that you need to take to get there. And a lot of the time, it's those courageous things. It's those things that are really hard to do. So just get out there. Start putting yourself out there. Start doing the things. Stay consistent with it. And like, you can do it. You reap what you sow, bro. I promise. You reap what you sow. And I know You might be looking at this now. I don't have much to speak on it. I don't have the YouTube channel I'm trying to achieve or the fan base I'm trying to achieve just yet or whatever. But if I keep putting my mind to this day in and day out, or week in, week out, bro, I'm bound to get there because you reap what you sow in life. You reap what you sow. Look at all the times where it could be a fucking video game, bro. Look at any video game you were terrible at when you first started playing. A year goes by, yo, I'm actually halfway good at this thing now. Because you sowed it, you reaped that thing to get there. You played that video game consistently enough so that by the time a year passed, you were actually really solid at that game. And I know that's a really, corny example. It's not a real life example. It's bro, that's what it is. You reap what you sow in life. You do. So find something you enjoy, find something you want to be, chase after your dreams and do the courageous things to get there. And bro, if you keep at it, keep doing it, keep being consistent at those things, you reap what you sow. But if you're not fucking reaping anything, how do you expect to get there? How? So you have to reap what you sow. Or I guess you will reap what you sow, but you actually have to reap the fucking thing to get there. So yeah, man. I don't know if I have a ton more to talk on. I feel like I got most of the things on my mind that I was thinking of, but at the end of the day, go ahead, just to summarize, we're going to have a little call to action at the end of this video. If you made it this far, please make sure you get an Audible subscription or find some kind of audiobook and listen to Courageous Calling. Phenomenal book. It'll give you a lot of great insights and it'll help you level up your courage. And not in and of itself, it'll give you the knowledge and the perspective you need to be courageous. It'll give you a little drive, a little more motivation to be courageous and do the courageous things. But it's not going to be the fucking solution in and of itself. But it's a new perspective. It offers new knowledge. It offers something that I think a lot of us actually need to hear. So go ahead, get your Audible subscription, or even just get the book. I usually recommend Audible because it's so much easier to just sit down and listen to an audiobook a couple times than it is to actually even read a book all the way through, at least for me personally. Everyone's different. You might be a lot easier for you to do that than it is for me. But, so yeah, I'd recommend go get an Audible subscription and listen to Courageous Calling. Phenomenal book. It's the inspiration of this video. Obviously, that's literally the title of the video. So yeah. I mean, go out there, chase after your dreams. You only live this life once, so fight to live it the best you can. And fuck what people gotta say. Stop worrying about them. Stop letting everyone have a voice and a say in your life, and choose to do what's best for you. And sometimes that takes courage to do, but you have to be courageous enough to do it because the alternative is never doing it. So yeah. Anyways, appreciate y'all. Anybody who watched this all the way through, you're amazing. And I wish the best for y'all. See y'all next time.